And of course, I go live and the dog starts barking. Hey, everybody, welcome in. All right, I am seeing people. Great. Hello, welcome in. We're going to be going live in a few minutes, just setting up if you've just joined us. Hey there, I am on tonight's host. This is our fifth night of our picnic live for Food Talk TV. So I hope you're going to join us. Please come back if you're scrolling through. We are doing what every night or every day. We actually did one morning from Food Talk TV. All of our hosts did a picnic theme and very doable activity. So we are. I'm carrying the boat tonight. I'm Frank underscore Mentor SF. I'm one of the hosts. So welcome aboard, folks. I'm glad to have you here. Let's check and see if my co-moderator is, my hosts are in the room. Right, where are you? Let's see. Hey there, good to see you. You know what? I don't know if I have to check viewers. I see you all. All right, we're waiting for our host, who's going to be in the box today. Hopefully, she'll log in shortly. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us or me. We are Food Talk TV. And some of you I'm recognizing already have been with us every day. We've been doing several dishes from our food collaborative, Food Talk TV. And tonight it's my turn, and I'm going to be doing uh, two sort of salads and a skewer dish, all of them super simple, super doable, easy adaptable by your palates and your taste. But two of them happen to be my ultimate favorite. The third one is one that I grew up with all summer long, and is just one of those ones that I like. You're going to go to a picnic, you're going to go to a party, and it's a really great one because you can make it a day or two before. So that's what tonight's agenda is. Please join us. I hope you're following us at Food Talk TV. I'm Frank Strona. I'm Frank underscore Mentor SF. I'm one of the hosts of Food Talk TV. And there are already, I can see a bunch of people. October Dragonfly also is one of our folks. There are seven of us that share our content. We encourage other people to share with us. And really, our whole idea is, and I can tell the glare, sorry about that. Let me take these off for now. The whole idea is to make food accessible. We don't want people to feel like good food is the domain of chefs. Only one or two of us have been trained. The rest of us grew up in the kitchens or learned from our parents. In my case, both my parents. And the closest I came to being a chef was actually being a short order cook, working my way through college, which I still like that food, obviously. I enjoy cheese and fried foods and burgers, but I'm going to do a little something different for you tonight. We had a great, if you have been watching our other posts and our other lives this week, if you haven't got a chance to see them, we have a YouTube channel now, and it's a perfect opportunity to be checking out all the lives. As a matter of fact, we also have a blog. So foodtalktv.com is our blog, and I am the kind of the webmaster on that, so I tend to put out the blogs. So we try to cover as many places. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Pinterest. Gluten Free Mama Ann handles all of our social medias for us. So we've got a real collective group of folks. So we're going to kick off in about 5 minutes. But if you've got some questions, go ahead and ask me. Let me make sure I can see if one of my other folks is in the room. I don't see Ashton. But Ashton is going to be just like Granny is going to be our in the box with me tonight. I hope maybe Sherry Skinner will be, but we keep it pretty casual. I like it. But good, this is a great time if you want to post questions. They're not scanning through as quickly. I'm actually going to put my back to you for a minute, and so that I could open up my other phone because it gives me a chance to see what I'm doing when I have to turn away. because sometimes not everybody has a kitchen that is designed for all of this the way we want to do it, but we try. I will warn you, there are times things happen. One of my favorite lives recently is I actually dropped something while I was doing the live, and it's pouring off the counter, and I just kept going. It's very Julia Child. There's not much you can do about it, and I learned a long time not to make myself crazy. So you just kind of go with the flow. All right. So, but like I said, it's a great time to ask questions. We're just starting off. I've got a couple of our teams in the room already, and I'm just setting myself up here. Let's see. There we go. All right. Now I can at least see myself, and I can see if you ask a question. All right. Great. Let's see if Ashton has joined us. I don't see her in yet, so we'll give her another few minutes. She is our international member. She's a Southern woman from Atlanta and lives in Sweden. So kind of we carry a wide range of folks. And we all have different tastes. The whole idea of Food Talk TV was really to bring a cross section of people. So I'm out here in California. We've got people in, we've got people in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, Texas, Cincinnati, I think. I think that's right. October Dragonfly. We have people in North Carolina. We have Arkansas, and we have Sweden. And I'm sure there's somebody whose location. Yep, got you there. Hey Sherry, Arkansas. I thought I saw you coming in. Great. Let me jump in, see if you're. And I see our other great. So I am really lucky tonight. I have two of my favorite partners in crime joining me in the box. But if you aren't following all of us, please give us a follow. So we've got Sherry underscore Skinner. Sherry is basically she's like the counterpoint to me because we eat alike. We love the same kinds of foods. We fully believe that food is something that is not supposed to be um, distant. You have to get into your food. What? Oh, you could tell him about that shortly. But
He
we
sends
want to
me
get
little
down
gifts.
and dirty with our food. We can't hear your. I don't know if you're muted. And then just like Granny is in our box tonight, she is my friend and just this creative woman who burst into the scene and joined us and is just a joy. And she lives in Sweden, so she's our international voice, but she brings some of my favorite Southern style recipes, and we just have a lot of fun. In the room, we also have some of our other members, but we've all taken turns. So it's chaos comedy, and I just mixed that up.
Cooking,
Comedy,
comedy, and
chaos,
chaos.
and C3. I'm so excited about what I'm going to make tonight. It's Cooking, Comedy, and Chaos is
Can you
C3.
hear me now?
Matter of fact, trying to do a live tonight and compete with
Maybe
last
not.
night's live is going to be a challenge, but it was a lot of fun.
Hear
Then we
me?
have Cooking with Kaz. I can't hear you.
You
I'm
can't?
gonna go out and come back
No,
in.
I don't think your audio's on or it's not
Hey,
turned on. You might have to check the
Ashton,
settings.
I don't know what's going on.
So, folks, are you able to hear me? Let me make sure people are hearing me because I can't hear. Um, let's see. Oh, dude. All right. I saw that. I remind you of Andrew Zimmerman. I tell you, I will take that. I will absolutely take that as a compliment. He is one of my
Can you not
favorite
hear
food
me now?
personalities. And yes, we do both share an affinity for fun glasses.
No.
So I can't hear Sherry. Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you, but I can't see myself.
Let me check here. All right. I think I got you now.
Uh, Ashton,
Can you hear me?
can you hear me?
I can
I
hear
can
you,
get.
Miss Sherry. I can hear
All
you,
right.
Frank. But you can't see me. I can't see myself.
Oh, you might have to turn your your video
Ashton,
on
go
before
down
you
there.
jump in.
Let me.
All right.
No,
So, welcome
Ashton, go down
everybody.
there where it has the red and blue people,
Uh huh.
and touch that, and then hit the camera.
There
Oh,
you go. I see you now. All right. Well, welcome.
you're
It's
teaching
not
me stuff
Food
I
Talk
didn't know.
TV. Well, yeah, and this is your first time in the box, so I'm so excited, Ashton. You're with us tonight,
Oh,
and Sherry.
so
Sherry
sweet.
has been my go-to box co-host on several occasions, but we all switch. We all take turns, and they act when we're doing this part. They will be looking for questions and keeping me on track and all of that. So let me do a quick recap for folks who just joined us, and then I'm going to start pulling things in because it's 5 o'clock. So we're Food Talk TV. We are a food collaborative of um, people from all over the country who came together and wanted to make food accessible. We want people to have fun with it. We often use recipes. We share recipes. In fact, some of us have great cookbooks to sell. Sherry has a cookbook she has available. Cook It Erica has hers that will hopefully be out soon. But then some of us just feel the recipes we grew up with are accessible and we want to share them and we want to. I grew up in a household where my father would read the cookbook. He would open the cookbook like a novel. So he would get a cookbook and he would open it and he would literally sit in the chair and read every page just like a novel. Then he would put it away and he would never look at it again because it would be in his brain and he would say, "Oh, this goes with this." I tend to be in between. So I love creating and I like taking a recipe. I'll make it the first time. And I think I have a TikTok up that I did for Molly, and she did a great recipe during Passover that I love because it was dairy free. But I've already made it three different ways, and I've liked it each time. So we want to make things different. We want you to experiment. It's okay to have a fail. Nobody has to do. Or sometimes a fail can be really good. You can find us on foodtalktv.com. We actually have a blog called In the Kitchen. We have a free cooking class where everybody gets together. It's a kind of a Zoom inspired cooking club. Desiree C3 and Cooking with Kaz kind of organize that. It's every Wednesday night. You can find more information out there. We have all of our content, all of our creators there. We have a YouTube channel now where we're going to be putting up the full lives for folks who don't get a chance to see it. We have, of course, our TikTok page, and we have our all of our social
Pinterest,
media. So you can find us on Pinterest, Facebook,
Facebook.
and Instagram.
Hmm.
So we're all over the place. So of the group of us, I haven't seen. I know I saw October Jagged Fly is one of us. Hey, Linda, I just see you. So Sherry Skinner, Sherry underscore Skinner, just like Granny. We've got Cooking with Kaz. We've got let's see, Gluten Free Mama Ann, and then we also have
Cook it,
Cooking
Erica.
Comedy and Chaos C3 and Cook It Erica. Those are all of us, and I'm Frank underscore Mentor SF. So enjoy tonight, ask questions, have some fun with it. I'm going to kick off the first of the three recipes. I'm going to do three different dishes tonight, but because they come in stages, I have to flip around back and forth. But the first recipe that I'm going to work on is a salad. And if you make it small enough, if you dice the food up, you can make it like a salsa. I like it as a salad, and it's actually got this thing called jicama. And a lot of people don't know what to do with this. And jicama is all about texture. Well, I'll tell you, you're going to know it and you're going to want to try it. Oh, look, does anybody notice my little fancy apron tonight? Because I've been
It's
told I
so
keep staining all my
beautiful.
shirt. Isn't it beautiful? I bet you we'll hear who
It's
can get one
beautiful.
for you and where you can buy one. So this
Love
salad
that.
is it's a salsa style salad and it has mangoes and blueberries and spices and jicama. But the first thing we have to do is we have to heat up a syrup. So it's lemon and lime juice and about half a lemon and or half an orange and a half a lime of zest.
Now, for those that aren't familiar with the jicama, what exactly is it? Is it a fruit? Is it a vegetable? Is it a starch? What exactly is, what would you call it?
It's a vegetable and it's very, very cold and crunchy. But one of the things that is really nice about it is it absorbs flavor. So to the citrus, I've got my zest, and now I'm just adding sugar. And these recipes will be up on the blog this week. And I'm just going to put this on low, and I want it to get hot, and I want it just to melt. But while it does that, I am going to peel it. So maybe what I'll do is, since it's easier
Root.
this way, it is a root. Yeah, it is definitely a root vegetable. This is what it looks like. It's very solid. You can eat it raw, you can cook it. I have actually loved using it in several different preparations. When I first found this recipe, I was like, that seems like interesting. But I'm all about texture. I love textured food. Now, I'm no way would I consider myself vegetarian or even interested in that particular food lifestyle, but I do like to sometimes eat differently. And one of my biggest complaints over the years when people, and I have quite a few friends who are vegan and meat free, is the lack of texture. I want texture. So when I found this recipe several years ago, I just fell in love with it because it has crunch, it has sweetness, it has tartness, and of course my there it is.
No,
I have two of these
jicama.
peelers, and this one just is a pain. Go ahead.
Would you say the jicama is kind of like a potato?
Um, it's got more water content in its bite. It feels almost like a water chestnut. It's like
Mm.
biting into a water chestnut.
That's what I was going to
I
ask a
don't.
while ago. I want to
Yeah, it
ask
doesn't. I don't.
everybody to tap the screen and follow the host, please.
Thank you. Yeah, let's get some love going. Let's get some folks visiting us tonight. I am in California, so I'm a little bit earlier than we've done these on other nights, but uh, so it does take a little bit of a workout to peel it. I will say sometimes I will help it along and just take off that end because then I will move it. Now, Sherry and I both share an affinity for using knives on camera for peeling things because we both find that they can be just as easy. But I will say I've done it with the jicama with my sharp paring knife, and I find that I lose too much of the jicama, and I really want to be able to have as much as possible. And it's slippery.
Wonderful.
As you peel it, it gets slippery.
Everyone,
So
if you
this
have
is
follow the host and check out our other Food Talk followers. Food Talk contributors. Thank you.
thanks. So I have to say, and this is what now all of the dishes I'm making tonight. Interestingly enough, we have not entertained in almost 2 years here at the house, and I am someone who, prior to COVID, I entertained all the time. We had big potlucks. I love having people over. I also traditionally have some big annual holiday parties, and then the holiday Sunday, Monday types things. So it was a little difficult. I think COVID really was a challenge because of that for me. But I was also working on the response, so I didn't have a lot of free time. But
He
now
is
that
using
things
a
are,
peeler, Christine. He just said
yeah,
he's using a peeler.
I'm using a peeler, just a standard peeler. I don't like the ones that can be adjustable. I find that, to be honest, if I wasn't on camera, I would just use a paring knife. To be honest, I'll be honest. I tend to like to use my knives as much as
Frank, is
possible.
there any way you can move the camera so we can see more of a demonstration of your cooking? Because
Uh,
our viewers are asking to see the food because they
there you
only
go.
see.
That's it. There you go.
Also, if all you're seeing is writing, swipe to the right, isn't it? Not you, them.
I think so.
Swipe to the right and the writing goes away.
So now remember, I put that sugar mixture with the zest and the sugar and the lemon and lime on the orange juice. That's now melted. I'll leave it alone. All I'm going to do is dice it up. Now, the thing with the jicama is by itself, that's what it's going to look like. It's just crunchy. It doesn't have a bad taste. It just doesn't have much of a taste. But it's great in salads. If you're somebody who really likes texture, it's got a bit of a rooty taste to it, but not particularly starchy. But what I find is the magic this completely changes is when you take your sugar syrup, and now I've made this with honey, I've made this with agave, I've even made this with sugar substitute, and it works. So depending on what your palate is or what your health conditions are, you can make this full sugar or less sugar to make the syrup. But the first step of this recipe is going to be, all right, before anybody, and I get these messages, yes, I like Lock and Locks. I've been using Lock and Locks for over 25 years, and I have my fall set, and I broke out a new one for tonight. I bought this
Now,
on sale last summer. Aren't these great?
what did you call
What do
it?
you call them?
Lock and Lock. It's actually you can find them at QVC. But I think they're on some of the other regular retail stores. The reason I like them is they have a silicone seal and they wash and they last really well. And they have different shapes. But last year I bought a couple for seasonal. I also like them because when I take them to a potluck or a party, I know they're mine. Not many other people will have them. So one whole jicama. Now, the jicama is about 2¼ pounds. This recipe is really forgiving and flexible, so I wouldn't sweat too much about what exact size it is. Just go for one that looks good. You don't want
Every
you want to see you don't want to see dents on it. You don't want to see a lot of pits, indentations, or peels. You want it nice and solid, and it doesn't matter what size you use.
Everyone, please continue to tap the screen. It does our food talk creator right now, all of us, and it helps us stay on the and get more wonderful like yourself see us.
All right. So what I'm doing is at this part of the salad, and that's why we're kind of switching mid-range, is I want the jicama to absorb some of the citrus flavor. Now, in that citrus flavor, what I'm going to add right now, several of us have a pleasure of red pepper flakes. Putting in about 1/4 teaspoon. You get to choose. Now, I don't put it in real early. You can put it in whenever you like, but I like to put it in when the sugar syrup is warm, but not in mid-cook, because it's going to marinate. And this salad actually is best the next day, to be honest. Now, if you were thinking, oh, this is going to be too much jicama, don't put it all in. Use it, make it into spears, and use it on your salads the next day. You can actually make it like, I will often cut them like this, and I put them in a Ziploc bag, or if I'm
French
going to
fries.
store, like French fries, yep. And I've seen people do things like fry them like a imitation French fry. I don't know. I just eat them raw if I'm going to eat them. I like them because they're great in a salad. I've actually used them in a couple Christmases ago. I did a Mediterranean shepherd's pie, and I used them in the shepherd's pie with chayote squash, and along with some other vegetables, and it was really, really good.
You are
All right.
very experimental.
I had found a recipe, and then we have a lot of times when I'm cooking for my friends, we have a bunch of friends who have several different food conditions. So I try and kind of work with everybody, but if I'm not going to eat it, if it doesn't have texture, then I'm not going to eat it. So this is the lemon and orange juice and zest and sugar and hot pepper flakes that are hot, and I'm now adding it to the jicama. And as we say, do not leave anything in the pan. I cannot stand when we leave stuff in a pan just because you want to get your television moment.
Somebody said they're great as fries.
I've heard it. I've seen it. I would try it. I don't have an air fryer, so I haven't tried it yet. And I don't really fry here at the house. And just go back in, like I'm looking now, I see a couple of these are a little too big. I want to make these a little bit. The size that works for this salad, I think, is right around the size of a grape. All right.
Yes,
And
we
now
are.
it's going to do,
Um,
and now what I'm going to do is just put it aside, and I'm going to let it cool.
Cass says we're being too quiet.
We don't.
I don't want to interrupt him. He's talking. But listen,
Go ahead. I
now,
got to set up for the next to prep the next dish. Go ahead, take it away.
okay. So, we have a plethora of ways to get into Food Talk. Well, to follow Food Talk TV, we're on Pinterest, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Um, we're on FoodTokTV.com and look on the events page. We're also on TikTok, as you can see. And we'd love for you to follow Food Talk TV as well as all the creators, which is Cooking with Kaz, Cooking. He's in here. Scroll back and you'll see him. Cook with Erica, October Dragonfly, Cooking Comedy and Chaos, C3, Frank Mentor SF, which is this dude cooking right here, and Just Like Granny, she's up above me, and then me, Sherry_Skinner. Please tap the screen, show some love, and follow the host.
And tonight, Frank will be making a mango citrus salad with blueberries, a cold watermelon chili with toppings, and a make-ahead antipasta sticks, which you can
All
find
right.
recipes up on our foodtalktv.com, right?
Yeah, most of these recipes, at least many of us are sharing our recipes over on foodtalktv.com in the kitchen. But the ones that don't get up there, you'll be able to either see in the individual creators' TikTok page or on our YouTube page where we're actually going to show the lives as well. But in my case, I know the first
Okay.
one will go up tomorrow.
Frank Mentor SF.
Well, somebody asked what is. Well, the host is technically Food Talk TV,
Food Talk TV.
but the guy cooking is Frank Mentor SF. Kaz, if you would, or Christine, would you type that in so people
Yeah, Frank
can know?
_ Mentor SF. All right, so now we're going to shift. I'm going to shift a little bit. So we've got the jicama for the mango jicama salad resting with a hot syrup of sugar, lemon juice, and zest of lemon and lime, some red pepper flakes, and a pinch of salt. That's got to sit because I don't want it to be hot. What I'm going to do now is switch gears and going to start about this watermelon chili. Now I can tell you, I love watermelon. I will eat it anytime, anywhere. But 30 years ago, I came to San Francisco. There was a restaurant that is still here, but the chef has changed. And I had the first salad I ever had with watermelon. It was salty and sweet and spicy. A few years later, I actually called the restaurant and asked, could I speak to the chef because I wanted the recipe. The restaurant was so wonderful. They said, oh, he's no longer with us, but here's where he's now cooking. I called the restaurant. He gave me his recipe and it was a salad. But I thought, I want to do something different. So several years ago, we were going camping and I needed something for the first night. And I thought, what if I made a chili and took all the elements of the salad and a ginger-based watermelon soup and then serve it just like real chili. And that's where the dish is. And it's deceptive. You go to taste it and it's sweet. And then you get a little bit of spice afterwards. And then it's like crack. All of a sudden you're like, oh, I want more. And we had some vegans with us who normally don't eat much of they actually were like going back for seconds and thirds. And it's a great dish that depending on what toppings, you can make it vegetarian, vegan, or plain old fashioned anybody. So, or regular pop.
Is the name of this chili going to be Frank's Watermelon Crack Chili?
It should be. I may have to do that.
Hi, Christopher.
So the first thing you're going to do is get a 10 to 12 pound watermelon, or if you're, I make this when I'm traveling, like at a summer place. I'll just buy it already cut up, but it can be a little expensive that way. So just buy the average 10 to 12 pound watermelon. Try to get seedless because it does help. Otherwise, you're picking seeds out. And the first thing you're going to do is take a 10 to 12 pound watermelon is going to give you about 30 cups anywhere from 25 to 30 cups, depending on how you chunk it. In this case, I used all of the watermelon, and I took about eight or nine cups of the cubed watermelon, and I put it in my Ninja. So I have a Ninja food processor, and I all I did is run it through. I'm not trying to make it soupy. I just want it to be crushed and liquid, and I'm going to add it without trying to spill it to a pot.
That looks
No need
good.
to rinse this. Oh yeah, it is good just like that. You could if you put that in the refrigerator now, you have a drink. I'm not
I
going to
would
wash
get a
this because
straw.
um, I
I'm
don't know
just
what you're talking about.
freezing it and making
You're
a
not.
watermelon sherbet.
Well, I will say watermelon is the perfect fruit if you like other white kinds of products to add to it, like liquors. Just saying. And I don't know if Des is in the room, but wait till Des sees the new rainbow unicorn coffee cups. All right. So to your pot, you've got your soup. Basically, this is crushed or pureed watermelon, and you're just going to put it on and start to get it warm.
Now,
So
is
you
it
do cook
better if,
it.
I'm sorry, Miss
Yeah.
Sherry.
Sorry. I just want to know if he's going to cook it.
Yes, I am going to cook it. So on the board here, I have 2 cloves of garlic, about a chunk of ginger. Now I will tell you folks, a lot of people don't care, but I do. I don't like the woody flavor of the ginger peel, so I do peel mine, even though I don't intend on cutting it or eating it. It's just for flavor, but I just don't. I find that if I leave the peel on, it gives me there's a I don't know a woodiness that I don't like. So
Now,
I
this is
scrape mine off. You be
question.
you.
I have a
Yeah.
very important question about the watermelon. Now, do you puree it with the seeds in it? It doesn't matter, or without?
If it's early season watermelon and the seeds are really soft and really small, it won't matter. If you have a really good food processor, it'll just you'll get a little bit of seeds, but not much. If they're mid season, like middle of summer, later in the year, where they're really big, then I might take them out as much as possible. The other way is to food processor it, strain it with a metal strainer, which isn't quite as fine as a mesh strainer, and then try to pick the seeds out. That's the other way. All right, so to the pan, you are going to put just plain old fashioned chopped onion. Do not use red onion, it will change the color. You want to use white onion, keep it mild. If you don't like the taste of white onion, you can use scallions, doesn't matter, works fine. You're also going to add, and I'm double checking my recipe for you all, 2 cloves of crushed garlic, my 2 chunks of ginger. Keep the ginger whole because you're going to fish them out later. I'm
Everyone,
putting my
please
garlic in. What's
to
that?
your support to our Food Talk TV and its creators. Stay on the FYP page and get some people like yourself to see us and notice us. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate
You
that.
keep cutting out, Ashton. You keep cutting out, do I?
No, I can hear you.
Well, her mouth keeps moving, but nothing's coming out.
Oh,
My
that's
mother
interesting. Okay.
says she's listening to me.
All right. So I'm now heating this on medium heat. In the pot is pureed watermelon, garlic chunks, 2 garlic cloves chopped, 2 chunks of ginger, maybe, let's see, I'll probably do about a quarter of a teaspoon of red pepper flakes. You can I this one I like a citrus infused olive oil. I'm not planning to cook with it, so I like that citrusy flavor, but you don't have to. It's just to add a little bit more flavor to it. And for all of you, I will double check and make sure I put everything that's supposed to be in it. I have put in the watermelon. We put the red pepper flakes. We put the oil, garlic, onion, and ginger. And basically, while this is cooking, you're waiting for it to be soft. I don't want it brown. I don't want anything to be overly done. I just want everything to blend, get warm, and so just let it do its thing, which is why we're going to go on to the next part of the recipes. Questions before I jump on to something new?
Has anybody? I don't see anything in the past, but Des
All
came
right.
in for.
Oh, Des came in. Hey, Des, have you seen this yet? They have
Kenny, I don't know if she's
unicorn rainbow
talking.
cups.
Or no, is it still
But
breaking?
all right, so let's talk about so what we've got cooking for those who have just joined us. Make sure you're hitting those hearts. Let's spread the love tonight and get as many people watching us. This is part of the picnic series for Food Talk TV. I'm Frank underscore mentor SF, and I'm tonight's host who's sharing. In my box with me, I have Just Like Granny and Sherry underscore Skinner, who are both parts of our Food Talk TV collaborative. We also have our other folks in the room, and I'll let them give them a shout. But please follow everybody. I'm doing three different types of dishes tonight. I am doing a jicama, mango, jicama, blueberry, spicy salad. In this container already, we heated up a sugar and citrus water base with some red pepper flakes and zest, poured it over the jicama, diced jicama, and I just wanted it to absorb and get all the flavor. What I have behind me is the base for what I call watermelon chili. Let me show you that since it's on the stove. And this is a going to be ending up as a cold watermelon soup. But the reason I call it chili is because what we're going to do is when it's all done, before you serve it, and if we were going on a picnic, and I've done this at a picnic, I would actually take mason jars, whatever size, and I would add the cold soup to it before I go, and then I would uh, put the I put some extra chunks of watermelon to make it like a chili consistency, and then I let everybody put their own toppers on it, and I would just hand it to everybody this way. They can go eat their thing, and I just bring back the jars
What
afterwards.
what sort of toppers?
Well, good. That's a good question. So what I would normally put on this as a topper is feta cheese, any
Ooh.
kind of cubey, salty cheese. Feta is my favorite. I also think a sesame seed, a sesame nut, or one of my favorite is pumpkin seeds. They all go. So there's a salty edge to this, but this is what I would serve. And then I would serve. You could serve diced up cucumbers. Would be great on top. You could serve. I also will put a little bit more. Um, red pepper flakes on the table, and then people can you get it crazy. You can add whatever you want, but there's usually so much flavor in it. That's all you want to do, and the nuts and the cheese give you a little bit second layer of texture.
Would you put something like sour cream? No.
I wouldn't because there's a lot of sugar in the natural watermelon, so I'm not sure how it would handle it. And it wouldn't necessarily be you wouldn't need it now. You could add a creme fraiche, I suppose, because you would have a sweet sour edge to it. I haven't tried it yet, um, but it's a possibility. All right, so let's go to what is next on our agenda tonight.
Be nice, cat.
What is Kaz saying?
Ashton Ashton is worried because she keeps cutting out when she's talking. So try again and see if we can hear you. She went off. She left
All
us.
right, let me know when she's back. All
Okay.
right, so let's go back, and I'm going to go back to now working with the jicama salad.
All
The
right.
next part of this,
She requested to come in.
I got her. So the next part of the jicama salad is the orange that you had the zest from. You
Can
want
you
to
hear
throw
me
that
now?
in.
Yeah, better.
Okay. Everyone, please continue to tap the screens. It helps all us creators and it helps Frank stay on the FYP during this time. And Frank is making a jicama salad, citrus salad with blueberries, a cold watermelon chili with toppings, and a make-ahead marinated antipasta sticks
All
tonight for
right.
our event.
All right, is that going in your jicama salad? What is that? Orange?
These are oranges. Now this orange doesn't look as orangey because I used the zest. That's why I wanted to use it. It's not how I would normally peel it, but since I took the zest off, it's just easier to do it this way. And you're just giving it um, a really rough, about the same size pieces as the jicama. It just gives you some fresh orange flavor to this that rounds out the mango really nicely.
You make me want to go eat some fruit right now.
Me too.
I'm
Well,
just
you
sitting
know,
here
it's
thinking
kind of
about sprinkling some flake salt on some watermelon right now.
that's so interesting
Uh,
because we have a blog coming up this week that talks about salt on watermelons. Um, so it uses about two oranges, but you know, oranges are funny. And as you notice, anytime I have a little extra orange inside the peel, I'm just squeezing the juice in. There's no sense wasting it. But I want to make sure I don't have the inner pith, um, and I'm just roughly putting some the oranges in here.
Now, Frank, have you ever heard of anyone putting sausage gravy on cantaloupe?
No, but then again, I haven't lived in the South long enough to appreciate what people will put it on. But why
Well,
do
actually,
you?
think it, it's so delicious. Don't knock it till
sausage
you try.
gravy?
Yeah, sausage gravy on cantaloupe. Don't knock it till you try it, Jerry.
All right. Well, you know, I am all for trying something. So now here is a regular orange that I did not peel first. They're much easier. And the way to do a quick peel, this is just simply follow the pith around the orange. For those of you who've never tried this, it's the simplest thing. Can you see me doing that? You're going to find where the pith and the orange meet, and you're just going to drag your knife all the way around, and it will peel your orange. And you don't have to worry about, well, first of all,
Hey,
you don't have to worry about getting,
can I tell you something? If
what's
you
that?
lay it on its side, not on the end, and you half it, and then you turn it wrong side out, you can just peel the pieces out. It just
Oh,
peels
that's
right out.
interesting. I haven't
I
tried
used to
that.
do it as a kid. My mom used to do it when I was a kid, and I watched her, and that's the way I've always eaten mine.
I'll have to
You
try that. I haven't.
know,
Okay, I'm always up for it because there are different preparations. Now, if you were really being fancy, do you see that little line here? That's the pith. Now, some chefs, when they're really trying to be super fancy, will have you cut out. But this orange has such a thin pith. I'm not worrying about it. I do a salad with oranges and kale and another very sharp green that is escaping me for the moment, a licoricey flavor green, and I cut them this way a lot.
everyone, if you're not, please follow the host and please follow our other food creators, Frank Mentor _ SF, Sherry _ Turner, the Gluten Free Mama, October Dragonfly, Just Like Granny Like Me, Cooking with Cats, Cook It Erica, Cooking Comedy and Chaos. And is there anyone else I left out?
Did you get gluten free,
Did you
Mama Ann?
I did do Gluten Free Mama.
did you say Cook It, Erica? Yeah, I think you
Yes,
did.
I did.
And
All
then
right,
Frank.
so
October Dragonfly just put everybody up there
there
except
you go.
for she didn't put gluten free mama.
All right, so now we've got the jicama in that's been marinated a little bit in that hot sugar syrup. I of course have a cutting board here full of orange juice. Ain't wasting it. That's flavor.
Hey, were you talking about arugula?
No, I was talking about. I do love peppery arugula. No, it's a Oh, I can't forget. It's a licorice flavored root. I guess it's a root. We eat it a lot in Italian dishes, but it's got this licoricey flavor. And I have an older TikTok, and you mix it with different greens and oranges in the winter with just a simple vinegar, and it lasts. It doesn't wilt. It's great for a party, and I eat a lot of that. I'm not,
Does it start
I
with
don't
an R? Is it Ricola? Rucola?
know that. I'll
Fennel?
have to.
Fennel?
It's not quite like actually it's the yeah it's like a fennel. It's I think
Cel-
it's the base of the fennel tube.
Celery root? Fennel
I
root?
have used celery root in it, and it does the same. It works really well. All right, so now I'm gonna finish out with this salad because then I want it to sit and do its thing. So now in this salad, which has it's a very yellow salad, by the way. I'm checking on this.
Anise?
The
Anise? How do you say that?
Anise, star anise.
So no.
all right, so taking a break from this. This is now smoking. You've got a little bit of foam on the top. That's done.
Ooh.
And it smells so good. You have the sweet from the watermelon and the ginger and a little bit of the onion now. Turn it off. Leave it alone. You're good to go. Now you would just put it in the refrigerator overnight once it cooled.
Would it be good if you added like any kind of broth to it to like increase the savoriness of the watermelon chili?
Um, I don't know. I've not tried it because I don't. It's not usually. I don't want it to be so savory. I want it to be more of a sweeter, spicier dish. I think it's something that we could try. Now, next part of the jicama salad is mangoes.
Mm.
This is what a mango looks. Where did I put my mango? Oh, maybe I used my mango up. I think I chopped it. So mango. Now there you can if you get a mango in the store and you're gonna slice it yourself. If they're super soft like this, you can do it and they're really good. But I often want to get a little bit firmer one because it's easier to eat. But they're not often as sweet, so you have to pay attention to the mix. Now adding this, I'm going to add all my mango. And I'm going to gently stir this up. I'm going to add the rest of the zest from the lime and the orange.
Ashton, somebody left you a message on here.
I'm so glad that you love curry. This is my mother's. Well, I guess you could say my grandmother's recipe because my grandmother taught my mother, and then my mother taught myself.
So this is now technically ready to go back in the refrigerator and sit for about an hour or overnight. Let me double check.
So most of
Yep.
your pick event series food that you made are gonna be cold served dishes. Then
All of my dishes are cold served. I grew up with I don't, in a picnic for me is I want stuff that's going to travel. It's going to stay safe. It's not going to be, if it's hot, it's not going to go bad. And the nice thing about this particular dish is you don't have. It can be. You can. It actually is better when it's not ice cold. So by the time you put it in a container and you get to your picnic or your potluck, it tastes good because it's almost room temperature. Now, this is optional. You can add some honey to this. It's definitely optional. I particularly like it, so it just gives it a different
Just do
dimension to
it.
flavor.
Always put
And that's
honey.
it. Now, this is done. Sometimes I would add a little bit more red pepper flakes now.
you say that you want things that can stay well preserved, but my family winded up eating everything in the car before we got to the place we was going to.
Yeah, that will happen. We've done that before. All right, so What I'm going to do now, when you cook with mint and most herbs, basil and mint, they go black really quickly. But what I will do is I will actually take the mint today, but I'm not going to use a lot of mint. I just want to start to put some of the mint in while it sits. Now, remember I am making this in real time right now for my family come Sunday. So this is just going to sit and kind of like you just said, Ashton. If uh, uh, this doesn't get tapped into tomorrow, we'll be lucky. Um, Probably by me, but
I
that's
want to
beside the
tell
point.
somebody something. You said you have to have potato salad on a picnic. Well, today, right before I came on here, I posted potato salad that you make in a zip bag where you don't have to mess up anything but a zip bag and you just squish it. Just go watch that TikTok and you will find out how to make potato salad in a bag.
Everyone, if
All right.
you want,
So the
can you?
last part of this dish before it would go into the refrigerator to cool. Now, if you were making this for a party, I would say put this in the refrigerator for half an hour to an hour uh, the morning of, and then take it out and do your thing. Or you can make it up to 2 days before. What I do suggest is don't add all the blueberries because as you stir it, the blueberries will sometimes sink. So I want to put the blueberries in so that they all come together. And then before I serve it the day of the serving, I add more fresh mint and I add more blueberries to my taste, which I like. And this is what it's going to look like.
It looks beautiful, Frank.
Pretty.
I will say, I have added, oh, the dog is going to love this floor of all this fruit today. I have added strawberries to this in the past. I've added cranberries to this in the past that are dried if I want to go in a red, white, and blue theme. All right, this is going to sit and it's going to just chill out for a while and then I'll dish it up at the end. All right, so
Everyone,
let's go back.
tap the
We've got our,
screen.
what's that?
I was asking everyone to please continue to tap the screen. Get
All right. Okay, back to our soup. This is our now wonderfully, I
He
could
is
just
making
hear it.
watermelon chili. Watermelon chili.
mm.
Now, this is super, super hot. You would actually not want to eat this right now. I mean, I have, and I would. I think the first time I made it, I did serve it this way, and I was not unhappy with it, but that's not the preparation I'm going for. But what I am going to do is I held back a cup. So you actually will have 8 cups, you puree, you hold 8 cups because this is what goes in it later to make it feel like chunks of meat. That's what makes it the chili effect. But if I'm finding, so I always hold the cup forward because I'm looking at this and it's kind of smooth. So now I'm going to actually put just a little extra watermelon that I can mash up if I want to while it gets cold. And now this will go in the.
Miss Sherry, you can definitely tell that we are Southern women. We can't hide our thoughts,
Reactions?
our faces.
I know. I'm like, what?
You
What
still
you
I'm
doing
not
confused
over there?
about?
gonna knock it. I'm not gonna knock it because I mean it might.
I am telling you,
Oh,
do not knock it until you've tried it. It is
I'm
one of
not.
those things. I thought no way and no way I was going to hate this. There was just no way it was going to happen.
But it's hot right now, correct?
I'm
It's too
thinking.
warm right now. It was good though.
I'm thinking he cooked
Mm.
it because he did add garlic and some other seasonings to it too, so in heightened flavor in the chili that he's making. But it is going to be
So,
chili.
Right.
So by
so
cooking
Yeah.
garlic
do
is
you
more
have to
flavor.
fish out something?
Yeah, well, I'm going to let it sit, but before I would serve it later. what I would do is I would take out those two big chunks of ginger that was in it. But right now, it can just do its thing. But what I am going to do, because I want to be able to show you it all later,
Sketchy Chef,
I
you
have a
missed
whole
it
set.
all.
I
Yes,
have a
we
whole set of these.
have a clock somewhere. They're
You will never
called,
figure this out.
I think,
Yes,
hair parfaits, something like that.
I love them.
They are
Sketchy
very
Chef has made a. It's going to be served cold watermelon chili, and he's made a jicama salad, and now he's going to make a. What is it, Ashton?
antipasta sticks, marinated antipasta sticks, pesto.
So for the magic of TV, I'm going to put this in the refrigerator now so it gets cold when we do the rest.
Gazpacho.
Exactly, Chris. That's what I would call it, but uh, it
What is he
is
calling it?
a gazpacho.
Gazpacho? Well, it's not a gazpacho because a gazpacho has a particular palette of ingredients. So it wouldn't be a gazpacho, and it is actually more patterned after what you eat when you eat a chili. Because the final version of this is you add more whole chunks of watermelon to the cold soup base, and then you top it with feta cheese and red pepper flakes and different kinds of nuts or seeds. So it's more like you're eating a chili with toppings than it would be a traditional gazpacho. I like gazpacho with vegetable and or fruit ones, but it would be a little bit different.
So it's kind of
All right.
that a salad, but liquid,
Yeah, it's kind of like a marriage of a soup and a salad, a cold soup and a salad. Sure.
a super salad.
Super salad. There you go. All right. So, what do we do when you want to do something or you've been asked to go to a picnic? You know it's got a lot going on in the morning. You don't want to have to deal with everything. These are a great way to do an antipasto without having to actually layer it all out. You know, you get it in the car, it tips it over, it's just going to be a mess. Well, this is what you want to do. So, antipasto sticks are basically skewers. Now, I made these earlier. These are actually the ones I'm making as a vegetarian alternative. They have no meat and no cheese on them. And they also have my own little special skewers that I made. So to make the vegetarian version, I just take green beans and olives, dried apricots, roasted garlic, and I marinated them for several hours in essentially the same salad dressing that I use that I'm going to do with the others. But I wanted to have a vegetarian option to show folks that you can do this. So what goes in the skewer or the sticks for an antipasto? Really pretty basic. You're going to take all of your favorite nosh stuff. You've got an olive. You've got pepperoncinis. You've got little cherry, sweet cherry peppers, and artichoke hearts quartered. You're then make sure I have the right one. You're going to take two kinds of cheeses. It's your preference. I have a Gruyere here.
Mm.
And I have a provolone. And the reason I like provolone and Gruyere is they're strong enough, but when you add the marinade and they sit all night long, they all have a nice kind of textured flavor and they don't get too mushy. What brands? You can buy any brand you like. Now, when I'm using these, I actually, surprising enough, and I did this one night to a class that I was doing at my office. They're like, "Did you throw away all of the brine?" No, I actually save all the brine just in case because if I want to change the flavor, if the salad dressing I'm using isn't tart enough, I can add some brine. So
Frank,
I didn't throw away all the brine.
Frank. That's so Chris said. I like you, Frank. Very explanatory.
Now, see,
Okay, thank
I
you.
love provolone cheese with sweet things, and so this would go well with your jicama salad and your watermelon chili because you've really thought this out because Gruyere and provolone have a nice salt to it, and it
Hmm.
also has creamy texture to it at the end, kind of like a Swiss cheese, but more with a little bit more sodium. So I think that that would go excellent. So you really thought this out well, and you did an excellent job for
Thank
your.
You
you.
know what you sound like? You sound like somebody on Chopped telling somebody why something worked or didn't work. For you, Ashton.
Well,
All right.
probably chop you now.
So I like when I go to parties, especially picnics, I like skewers because they're a finger food, but you don't have to worry so much about are your hands as clean if you've been out, you've been playing, softball or whatever. So skewers are a great fun food. You can get skewers and you can use any number of them. You could, if you're somebody like me whose favorite thing to get from folks as a thank you are these little plastic skewers that come from edible arrangements. I save them. I wash them and I keep them in a Ziploc bag when I'm ready. You could uh, go to your plant supply stores and buy these little really flexible ones. These are fun if you want to do something and have a shape to it. The nice thing about them, you use them once, get rid of the cable, and then you can keep the strawberries and put them on skewer sticks. I don't recommend using these kind of skewers because they don't go through the food easily. They're pretty, but they don't work that way.
And I also suffer from anxiety, and I was trying not to sound dumb, but I'm glad it got pointed out to my face
What's that?
about how I talk.
Oh, you talk fine. But this is what a skewer looks like. You can buy them in all different sizes. But I will remind folks, if you're buying skewers to do this, make sure that they're going to fit your bowl that you're going to marinate them in or travel in. So I always keep several of these around um, to have them handy. But I like to make things a little bit fun. So I went to the party supply store and I bought a lei. I cut it apart, and one of the things about this one is they all come with these little plastic tubes. And I cut the tube. Guess what? Fits right on the back of the skewer. So now, when I go to serve this, if I want to serve this, say, sticking up, I can get some floral foam, which usually is what's at the bottom of the vase that comes from edible arrangements. I have my skewer already designed. I can walk in just like it's a flower arrangement, and people can go. They don't have to
Is
be laying down. So it's a way of serving it, and it's pretty. The one I did, the vegetarian one with the shells, those are really nice. They're dense, but you can't marinate them when the shells. You don't want to. You want to add those after they're marinated.
green.
Yep.
I think they look wonderful. I think you did an excellent job. I'm actually having like anxiety now to speak because I don't want to get picked on again.
You know what? Don't you worry about it because I am fine. You can speak the way you want to speak. So, other ways when you're doing a picnic, because I do like my picnics. Obviously, I'm a big picnic fan. I even got my own little travel basket.
Oh, that's so
But
cute. Christopher
isn't it
Robin has
cute?
Winnie the Pooh.
That's right. So, but one of the challenge and the complaints though is how do you get to stuff that's marinated? Well, if you don't have it, go to your kid's chest and wash out some of their plastic containers, and you can put the skewers in a Ziploc bag here, lay them flat, they get them to the picnic, and you're set to go. That's another trick.
You made
Or,
me.
and this is my newest. What's that?
You made me want olives.
I love olives. This is my newest find. Um, they're not cheap. They're on my bio. You can find them. They're called a sub keeper. So if you watched Desiree's grinder last night, this actually, when you tighten this up, you can put it in an ice cooler and it's not going to get anything wet. But I was thinking, oh my God, this is perfect. It's called SubSafe. They have it on Amazon. It's in my personal bio. I have it on the link in my bio. You can find it, but you can just search. But I actually found this at a secondhand store, so it was even cheaper, and it was unused. But they have two sizes. But I was thinking, this is perfect because now I can do my skewers. I can stand them right up. I can pour the marinade in. I can tip it back and forth. All idea. Go to the picnic, and all I have to do is open them up, lay them out. Not going to spill. But since I do eat a lot of sandwiches and I do have other things, I love the idea it was designed to keep things from being wet, even though I'm intentionally going to make them wet.
That is such
Uh,
a great idea.
It's a little
Everyone, it's time
expensive.
to post and follow our creators. Also, please keep tapping the screen because that helps stay on the FY. We're at 20,000 likes, you guys. Thank you so much.
All right. So what do we do? What else goes in an Italian antipasto skewer or stick? You want a
Pepperoni.
salami or a pepperoni. Okay. So I use the pepperoni slices. I get them at the deli already sliced. But you know, if you ask the deli folks, they'll give you a thicker slice and just tell them how many. Or in my case, the place I go to, they sell the ends in a bag. So I just take off the edge, and they're already. So it means I get a nice even, nice chunk, and I don't have to spend hours chopping.
Thank you, Christine.
So I have a salami, I have a pepperoni, I have two types of cheese, and of course, all of my favorite vegetables.
What is a sopressata?
Sopressata. It's a variation of a dry a smoked flavored product. I actually use it in the Easter ham pie that I make, but it's a variation of this. Usually, I actually have some in the bottom of here. It's got pepper on the outside. That's super flavorful.
Mm.
All right. So you're going to go make your antipasto stick. Leave room on the end for people to touch it, to take it. It's nothing worse than going to grab one of these and there's nothing on the end. I usually start with an olive, but I'm not too OCD about it. But what I do like is because the artichokes have a tendency to pull apart, I will actually take the artichoke and make a little bed for it with the pepperoni slice and then do it this way.
Frank is very Italian.
I might resemble that remark. Then add one of your pieces of meat.
Someone asked, "Is Frank Italian?" And I said, "Yes, you're very Italian."
I am very Italian. I'm Italian American. Add your cheese. Add some pepperoni, another piece of pepperoni if you like. It doesn't really, at this point, you get to decide what it is that you want to put in. So I'll look in here. Oh, I don't have a pepperoncini yet. I'm going to put my pepperoncini on there. I'm going to put a piece of provolone. Now, if you had other vegetables, if you had cauliflower that you wanted to quick pickle, if you had other pickles, if you wanted to buy a jar of this Jardiner salad, which is a commercially version of this, would be totally appropriate at that point. I don't know where they went, but you can add.
Now in Sweden, they have a large selection for Italian food, deli meats for Italian. Then we have all kind of actual canned tomatoes from Italy and all kind of olive oils, homemade pastas. And then you can go to the city and they have a deli place there that just sells all kinds of dried meats. I think you would have a ball if you ever came and
Probably.
visit in Sweden if you went to this place because I'm telling you, I probably should have been born Italian so I don't know what all this stuff is because look at this.
Well, traditionally an antipasto plate is served flat, and you would pick foods off. But what I was thinking is, how do you do that? How do you have an antipasto plate at a picnic? So I went and I also bought some jarred pickled uh, uh, green beans, but you could make your own.
Which
But what
how
I
does that
did is, what's that?
how does the pickled green bean taste?
Oh, I love them. I love pickled green beans because they're the best of all the flavors. You get the crunch of the green bean, you get whatever you're pickling it with. In this case, I'll show you what I'm going to use in a minute. Now, of course, I moved. Oh, there they are. And then the last thing on it, because tomatoes are really a fruit, not a vegetable, is I always add a tomato because I want a little bit of a finish for salt
Now, do
and
you use
sweetness.
martell tomatoes or cherry tomatoes?
Cherry, grape, whatever's available.
Because they do
So
have a
I would,
different taste.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, they do. So now I would make all of these up, put them in my container. And then what would happen is, okay, now I do this because this is the way my mother made it. You want to make a handmade dressing, you be you, go ahead and do it. But I will tell you, I don't. I'm using plain old fashioned, zesty Italian dressing from Kraft. I'm not sponsored by them, but this is how my mother did it. It's what we are used to. So in this case, because I'm going to be using, most people will have some kind of a flat container, but I'm going to use this container because it pleases me. And I'm going to just make them all. And then I would pour the dressing, shake it up, and then it would just be set. And I would leave it in the refrigerator overnight. Or if I'm going to do this, I would do this the morning of before and take it out, let it come to room temperature, and be ready to go. Doesn't matter what size you want to make them. If you want to make them big, you want to make them small, they work out just the same. This is a great activity, by the way, if you have kids who want to help for a party. You know, a lot of kids during COVID got motivated about being in the kitchen. Everything is already cut, everything is clean. As long as their hands are clean, it's a perfect thing for them to do. They feel like they're a part of it. It's also great to do while you're watching TikToks because you can sit with your phone, plug it in, and you're good to go. Because I'm looking to see what combinations I want.
It also allows your children to be creative in the kitchen as well, to see how they can make their own um, sticks or bobs different.
I agree. So it doesn't really matter what size you like. You can do your own. For some places, the smaller ones are going to be a lot better. Other places, now there are bamboo style sticks that you can buy like this at the grocery store. I like them. They're pretty reusable. You can actually reuse them, and they're pretty sustainable. They're pretty on the end. You get to choose which ones you want.
Frank, Cass says you lost him when you didn't forge your own knives.
Don't laugh. I need new knives. It is not the first time I've thought about that would be a cool activity to learn.
I think it would, yeah.
I think there's when I was in Georgia a few years ago, I met a guy at the it was either the Apple Festival or the Peach Festival, one of the two, and he
Probably
does
the
metal work, and I bought a bunch of his products because they were so beautiful in that.
Do you know what kind of festivals we have in Arkansas? The Pine Tree
What?
Festival. The Pine Tree Festival.
well, where
Seriously.
I'm we have one festival called the Sunflower Festival where all the kids dress up like sunflowers and run through the neighborhoods. I don't know why,
Well,
but
we got a lot of different festivals, and I think that a festival is really going to be all about the people. In some cases, it's the only time of year people get out and you actually see everybody. I love the old regional foods that will come out at some of the festivals. I did hit the Moonshine Festival when I was in Atlanta, which was a lot of fun. Now that was fun.
if you're
Hey,
not,
everybody that's coming in, this is Food Talk TV, and we're on so many venues you'd have to love us on one. We're on Pinterest, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We're on www.foodtalktv. And as you can see, we're right here. And we would love it if you would follow all the hosts, which most of them are in the comments, like Cooking with Kaz, who said, introduce Food Talk TV. There's
he's our
just like
boss.
Granny. There's just like Granny down there, and there's me and Frank Mentor SF is right there cooking, and we have uh,
October
Cook It
Fly.
Erica, October Dragonfly, Cooking Comedy and Chaos, and
Gluten
Gluten
free.
Free Mama, and is that it? Anyway, so that's all of us, and just look us up. You'll find us. And we also have a cooking club on Wednesday nights. You can get the code, come in and Zoom. Come in prepared to cook. If you're going to watch, please be muted.
Also, please follow the host currently on food. Please follow Food TV. Also, please tap your screens. It helps to stay on the FYP, and more wonderful people like yourselves get to see us. It not only helps Frank, but it helps all of our wonderful creators during our lives and the rest of the time.
All right, let's go back to the chili that has all of you fascinated. How is this going to work? It's already cool. It's already actually cool to the touch. I put it in the bottom of my refrigerator. So what I would do now, if I could figure out where my ladle went. Now I'm going to serve this because I know Kaz is in the room and he likes pretty presentations. So I'm going to serve this in a pretty bowl that was given to me. And I would ladle in my soup, the soup portion first, then remove if it's too much. Then you go to that reserved, go back to that reserved watermelon I told you to keep back,
Mm-hmm.
and you're just going to add it all back in.
Somebody said Cherubusco, Indiana has a turtle festival.
That would be fun.
Well,
I want some of that.
my mother calls me turtle bait because when I was 14, we got in a 4-wheeler accident and I almost ran right into a turtle lake.
So then
I
you
want
put this on the
some.
table. You put it on the table. You let people take their own. If I were going to do this at a picnic, I would give everybody little tiny cups so that they could have their own, and then tell them, "Don't throw them away. I want them after. I want them back." And me being me, I'd add a little more red pepper flakes. And this, as soon as I wipe my hands so that it does not, I don't drop it.
See it. Is there any way you can zoom the camera down or tilt it or bring it up to us? Okay, that looks delicious.
Yeah,
I would
yes. Oh, I love that bowl.
I
love
knew
that
you
bowl
would.
too.
Oh,
Now
you knew it.
first, but like man, with that cheese, it really comes together, don't it?
Uh-huh. And you
It's
get the
making my mouth.
salty, you get the sweet of the watermelon, you get the bite of the ginger, a little bit of the heat of the onion, then you get the saltiness of the feta cheese, you get the crunch and the saltiness of the nuts or the seeds that are on top, and then all of a sudden you think you're done, and a minute later you get a little spice on the back, like a little bit of that red pepper heat, and you think, oh, okay, I'm done, and then you're like, that's really good. I want some more. And it really, that's it, just keeps wanting more. And when it's colder, it's even better because, of course, flavors are muted as it gets cold and then warms up. Now,
Hmm.
when I would what I normally would do is when I take that out the day I'm going to serve it, I'll take some of the watermelon and I might even crush it up by hand, kind of like you do tomatoes. And if I want it a little thicker, but normally I want it to look like this. I really do want it to be.
Added a
Um,
little olive oil for a citrus flavor, right? So you have your fat, you have your heat, you have your spicy, and you have your sweet and your savory. So you have all the
yep.
flavor aspects. Does it give
Yeah,
an
it's
umami flavor from all the cheese? Does it give you an umami happiness when you're
Yeah, there
chewing?
is a bit of this combination. I will say, it almost, there's a part of it that will almost fake out your brain because visually you keep thinking that it's going to be just watermelon.
Arkansas.
Now, um, here's the other thing I forgot to add, but you could. Sherry, that I like is a little bit of the tops of a chive or green onion. You
What
could also
about
add that.
at work? Because I know in a lot of alcoholic drinks you can also add watermelon flavored things, and it gives great taste. Mint work as well.
Yeah, pureed watermelon is really can works well with most alcohols. Now,
Where is
here's the
Lepanto, Arkansas?
all right, so let's see where we are here. This is the chili, and of course I spilt it, but that's just because I get excited. I like it so much. Let's see what the salad is now looking like. So now we're gonna do. This is what you would do to plate up the the mango jicama salad.
I agree, Sketchy Chef. Bring on the tequila.
Oh yeah, tequila would go. Actually, you know what would be great with the tequila? This mango jicama salad. I'll tell you right now. So you have. I would add more blueberries just because I think they like that. It's that one part that's a fresh bite that hasn't been marinated. So I add more blueberries to it, and then take some mint and just tear some pieces of mint. If I'm going to do a party style, like at a table, I'll just do a whole bunch in there. And this is what it will end up looking like.
Mmm.
I suppose I
Now,
should try it and tempt
your,
you all.
would you say your dish is easy and accessible for even disabled people like myself to make?
Hold on a second. So you got the crunch of the jicama, the spice, you got the sweet, the mango has its own particular flavor, and then you get that bite of mint and blueberry. It's great. Now, is it accessible? Yeah, because almost everything you see here, you can buy already chopped, already cubed, or jarred. So theoretically, you can make almost everything here without a lot of work. I mean, it allows you to actually set things up into motion. So it's sort of like an almost homemade, because you just don't have to do so much work. If you don't have the ability to do a lot of hand, if you can't do a lot of cutting, it's perfect for that. So we've got our salad. Of course, I will have to do some photographs later. Then we would then go, and I what I didn't do, but I'm going to do it now. Go back to marinated our marinated sticks. After you make a bunch of them, all you do is take your dressing, just make them drunk. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Now put them in overnight in the refrigerator. Uh, Flip them upside down once or twice. It needs a minimum of an hour, but you can go overnight, and then literally the next day you've got these great flavored, concentrated, easy to eat uh, antipasto sticks. Now, usually I will just have one or two, and I will see what I need to add to it. Uh, Now, but say it's the end of the party, you have a bunch of leftover. What do? Well, you make your own Jardiner salad. So this is the leftover of the vegetarian one. What I would do is I would put it in a big jar with a seal and a lid, add a little more olive oil or more dressing, and I would just serve it and keep it in the refrigerator. And I would serve that. Matter of fact, I would even mix these, and I wouldn't have a problem with it. Without take them off the skewers after if you didn't serve everything, and you now have a side dish, a quick salad. You could chop them all up, make it more like a topping for a sandwich. Lots of options, but these are all really super easy, flavorful things that nobody's going to expect you to bring to a picnic that work. The flavors work.
Everyone, you're following Food Talk TV and its creators, and continue to please tap the screen. It helps us stay on the FYP, and not only the host tonight, but all of our wonderful creators, such as Sherry Skinner with us tonight, just like Granny Me, and our host Frank Mentor SF, October Dragonfly, Cook It Erica, Cooking with Kaz, Gluten Free Mama, and Cooking Comedy and Chaos.
All right. Now, how many of you like dried apricots?
I do.
I love them. But do you know if you take the salad dressing, throw it in a little pan, add a little bit of the citrus oil, not much, just a little bit more, some zest, some red pepper flakes. You can throw in some roasted garlic and let it simmer for 2 or 3 minutes till it's hot, and then top them. Just throw in the dried apricots and let them sit. About 30 minutes later, they're soft. They feel like
Mm.
they absorbed all of that flavor, so they're perfect on something like this because they're not so high and leathery or hard and leathery, but they're almost addictive because you get the apricot flavor, then you get the spice. So they're perfect on something if you're trying to. I mean, you could do this with cheese, but I make them as an alternative to meat or cheese for folks who have, for me, like I can eat everything on here. It's not going to bother me. Um, so,
Actually
but it,
healthy all your meals because fruit is good for you. Olive oil is an excellent fat for you. And you have the vinegar aspect, which is also a fat burner and an energizer and slow digestion. You also have garlic, which helps with anti-inflammatory. Cucumbers keep you hydrated. You just nailed all of it, really.
and it's good. I mean, let's face it, it's good. And then this is the skewers that I made. I actually made a bunch of these. I found a bunch of shells. I washed and bleached them, and then that's what I used. But if you're going to do, if you're going to top your own skewers, don't marinate them on the skewers. Take everything that's not marinated, put it in a bowl overnight. You can marinate all of the stuff overnight, and then the next day just go ahead and skewer them up real fast.
No,
Totally, either way works.
I know a lot of our followers doesn't like too spicy. Is how spicy would you say this is in comparison to say um like straight up jalapeno flavor, or is it just a tinge of spice, just enough capsium to give it
It's
that?
just it's a tinge. It is super. It's you get a little bit of a heat, but you're not going to be, oh my god, on the Scoville scale. You're not going to be like, oh, this is going to kill me. I like, give me some cream or give me some milk. It's totally not there. It's just much more minimal. Because you can make it spicier for sure. I don't usually. I tend to want to go a little bit more moderate for because I have people who have different levels of it.
Mhm.
And there's really no there's only about a quarter of a teaspoon of red pepper flakes in that. And when you think of how much it makes, it's not that much spice, and it absorbs in it pretty well. So yeah, you wouldn't be over the top, I would say.
And these are great for snacking people because I am a very big snacker. I love like I'm a more of a snacker than I am a meal person, and so I don't always eat my whole meals because I'm always in between eating things.
If you are a snacker or you're somebody who like these, the nice thing about these, they're perfect for on the go people. You make a whole bunch up on the weekend, and then
Mhm.
you're good throughout the week. You can take them to work. You can just you have them ready. And like you, I do tendency to snack, and sometimes I don't have enough time to sit down and make a whole meal. So it ends up being a really nice, easy way to do that.
It
And you
definitely shows
feel,
on my front tire here.
yeah, I hear that. I think everybody's been feeling it. But I wanted to make something different. I wanted to make something that was going to give people an opportunity to try something new. So I would say these will be up on the web. Give a shot to them, see what you think, add to them, play with them, make them your own. The whole idea is you add what you like. If there's a pickle type of or marinated vegetable or fruit you like, add it. I use what I grew up with, which is the artichokes and the salami and the pepperoni, but you can use whatever you like. It really is your choice.
Now, would a drizzle of, say, balsamic vinegar give it an extra bit of taste? Because
I
I
would
love balsamic vinegar.
I would totally, if I were going to plate these up the next day, I would definitely consider adding a balsamic vinegar or a balsamic glaze. I don't put them in, I wouldn't use it early because it'll turn your marinade too dark. And you don't want to discolor it technically, but you could do it at the last minute. Yeah, totally.
Or
Um,
maybe make
I'm,
a dip out of the balsamic vinegar and then people could just like drizzle it on, maybe if they
oh,
decided
yeah,
to.
that could work too. I'm curious now. You have me thinking about it because I do like balsamic glaze, and I have a good quality one. I may try and see how the glaze does on the watermelon too, on the watermelon chili. I haven't thought
Mm,
about that till
that
just now.
sounds delicious. That actually does sound really good because I love feta cheese and balsamic vinegar, but I also love. I can't ever say this right. A caprese. I love
Crazy.
those salads so much. I could just chop up a whole bowl of it and eat it.
Yeah, I agree. It's one of my. We make that a lot. I do like it myself. So I will just be. This is what I'll be doing tonight. I'll be making a bunch of these and be ready for it tomorrow. Actually, since I've got you all here, let's try this. Hold on. We got some time.
Let's
So
do
this
it.
is a balsamic. This is a balsamic glaze. So the difference between a balsamic vinegar and the glaze is balsamic vinegar that's been cooked down a little bit more. So it's a little bit thicker.
It's very sticky too, and it has a nice sweet tinge to it. It's much
And you
like
know,
molasses.
yep. And I actually like it on strawberries. So it would stand to reason. Got to get my perfect bite. All right, I have a bite of nut, feta, balsamic, watermelon. Oh, okay. That's going on the recipe.
I am so jealous of you right now. I love those kind of flavor palettes. Ugh.
Yep. All right, so that will be the extra. That will be the extra topping is some kind of a balsamic vinegar or a glaze to drizzle on, or the citrus oil. So
Please
that's
follow
it.
the
That's what I had tonight.
TV. Also, we're try to get us to 30,000 likes. You guys tap those screens as fast as you can.
So, folks, I am Frank underscore mentor SF. I am one of the Food Talk hosts. There are a bunch of us. My thanks to underscore Skinner and Just Like Granny. We also have Kaz, Cooking with Kaz in the room, Cooking Comedy and Chaos, or C3, October Dragonfly. We have Gluten Free Mama Ann, Cook It Erica. We're a collaborative group that come together to just simply make some dishes, make food accessible. This week we all went live, so we have tomorrow night. October Dragonfly is on, and then on Sunday we wrap up this week of picnic themed foods with gluten free Mama Ann. And the idea is have some fun with your food. Don't be afraid to get dirty. Don't be afraid to get messy. Try things, experiment with things. If you don't like it, chances are it's not a hate. It's just wouldn't make it again. We have our foodtalktv.com blog in the kitchen. We have our Wednesday night cooking club, and you have lots of opportunities. The idea behind us is that we want people to try, we want people to make things, we want people to have some fun with what they're doing.
And
Exactly.
we have 31,000 likes.
I have a request from you, Frank. You're
What's
very
that?
knowledgeable about all of these flavor profiles and different kind of foods. Would you be willing to make a blog post on Italian pasta? I mean, items like that you would recommend for people that had like we've never heard of some things. Like we all know what pepperoni and salami is, of course, but what about other things that you recommend and how we should try? Really explain how we should go
Sure.
about the new cuisine and the whole type behind it. I would really be
Yeah, I mean,
interested.
I can do that. It's always
See,
interesting, you know.
Frank has taught me words I'd never even heard of focaccia bread. I want to try it so bad. But he has a lot of things that I would love to get brave enough to make. I will.
Because my David is his grandparents were Italian, and so he's half Italian and half Swedish. I'm learning the Swedish aspect, but I'd really love to learn background. Um, so that's food that he grew up on that his grandmother made for him when he was a child, and she
And
cooked with
that's
the garlic and onion stuff like that. So
and that is the best start is what are the flavor recipes, because you have to keep in mind that I'm an Italian American, so my grandparents were born in Italy, but I am a was my parents were born here. My so what I remember in my food palette is not necessarily going to be the most authentic, but it's what was adapted, you know, to what they could get here, what they ate, what they liked. But I do find it fascinating. I've been doing a bunch of research on some of the old dishes, where what's changed. The last, I still make a wheat berry pie, which is sort of like a rice pudding in a pie shell, but you're using wheat berries. It takes forever and a day because the wheat berries tendency to have to be cooked in milk a long time. But I was surprised when I did it a couple years ago that not everybody had tried that before.
I've
The
never
ham
even
pie,
heard of it.
yeah, it's something we grew up with. The
So
pizza rustica, which is I did at Easter. I think I posted about that, and it's basically like a steroid, a quiche on steroids. It's this really thick uh, cheese and egg, and it uses like six different types of prepared meats, ham and salamis, and all different Italian foods. And you bake it in a somewhat like a cheesecake pan. And it was traditionally we would eat it every Easter morning after church. Um, but I make it now. My mother used to make it. I used to have to beat. I was the one who had to cut it. I had to cut all the pieces, and my mother was a stickler. She'd be standing behind me. That's too big. It's too big. You have to make the slices smaller. But
my
all my
grand
sisters and I make it now.
my grandmother, whenever I made a mistake, she told me to do it again. Do it again. Even that's how come I'm so good at crochet and cooking, because she would actually undo my crochet work and say, "Do it again," right in front of me and say it wasn't good.
That's how they do it.
But
Yep.
I'm very Irish and German based foods, and I have a lot of Native American background, so that's all I know how to do is Southern Appalachian type foods. And I've really been trying to I actually bought an Italian food for dummies book on the Amazon so that I could try to learn a little bit, and some more Chinese food for
Well,
dummies.
I will tell you my favorite, one of my favorite Italian cookbooks is Lydia Bastavich. She's an Italian chef in New York and several other places have restaurants now. She has a cooking show. There's another cooking show I still watch on reruns called Ciao Italia. But Lydia's food palette is a lot of the foods that my family would have grown up with. So she's got one of my favorite cookbooks as well that I often turn to when I want to learn something. Matter of fact, she does a version of that. Remember the last live I did with the cinnamon, the sesame candy? That's in a very Italian one. She has a version of that. Matter of fact, she is where I got the recipe for the braised head of cauliflower in tomato sauce and herbs. And you braise it together, and then when it's done, you serve it. It looks like a brain when you cut it, so it's great for Halloween. But it's just a very simple, healthy dish. It's braised cauliflower in this great tomato sauce that you're like, oh, this is really good. I would have never thought about this.
Everyone,
But
if you're
yeah, I mean, I think
follow Food Talk TV and our amazing creators, please also keep tapping the screens. The more likes we get, the more we're seen. And it doesn't only help our creator company, it helps all other creators as well.
well, folks, I hope you enjoyed this. It was intended to um, spur you into thinking differently about what you think is normal and what you think is flavor. One of my favorite things to do to Sherry is get her to consider a new flavor that she hasn't had or try. And I don't expect people to love everything. The idea is though you try something new and then figure out, okay, what is it that I don't like about it? That's that's okay. It's when you try something and say, it's not to my taste, or, oh, I really like that. I would do it differently to make it my taste. Like, for instance, I don't, some people do not like nutmeg. Well, yes, a lot of chefs like to put nutmeg in anything that has spinach. But if you don't like nutmeg, then don't put nutmeg in.
In
That's all there is to
spinach?
it.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
spinach.
Nutmeg
It's a
brings
very
out flavor in cheese, and it gives it a very earthy, good
I don't
taste.
spinach. No, I like spinach, not turnip greens. Yeah. I know. Take my southern card. I don't care.
no. Everybody's got a
It's
different,
good
but
to have
sometimes we
fried.
we grow up with these prejudices around food. I can remember every Christmas I would give my grandfather a jar of pickled pig's feet. And it was normal. I just thought every Christmas my mother would go to the store and I would wrap it up, and that was my present to him. I can tell you a lot of people when I talk about eating pig's feet are like, what? What? It was normal. We have a dish called soufflette growing up, which is all of the innards of the animals, heart and liver and lungs, and you chop it up real small and you put it with the tomatoes, and it just cooks for this really long time. It's really dark red sauce. And my family would make that usually around the time of my birthday in September every year for Labor Day picnic, and it's rich and it's thick. And of course, some of the some of the food on it is not you can't even buy in certain places. But you know, if you're immediately going to say ugh, you're never going to learn to say why something is good or not. So we were raised. You try it once. You don't have to like it, but you got to try it.
Well,
I tell you,
the one thing you made was the candy with sesame seeds, and then I thought, no, and then you sent me some, and then I'm like so sad when it's over, when it's gone. I'm like, oh, it was
So
so
you like that
good.
one?
I
Yeah,
love
it's got
it.
it was a sesame. It has sesame and almonds and a little bit of citrus and honey, and it's a nougat style candy, and you know they have other versions of it, but it's one that you would make really easily. It doesn't take long. But all
well,
right, thanks everybody.
you were very educational tonight. I learned a lot, and I didn't ever think to make a chili out of watermelon. I mean, you definitely taught me a lot, and all of your flavors went well together, and it was a joy to be in your live tonight and learn from you.
And
Honestly,
you're putting it on www.foodtalktv.com.
Yeah,
Food
tomorrow the recipe will go out in the kitchen, which is our blog for Food Talk TV. The actually some of the other recipes are already out. We've got over the next week and a half. Ashton's recipes are going out. Some of Dez's are already out. I'll be linking wherever we can to TikToks. Sherry, I think I have yours, some of yours. I'll be doing tomorrow morning the watermelon recipe go out, and then the Jicama will go out later on this week. Try to get something out once a day,
Where can
and
I
then we'll
get
be linking
jicama?
to the YouTubes. Jicama's grocery store. It's usually in the vegetable aisle where the other roots and vegetables. So if you can find the other roots and vegetable, it's usually right there. It's not very pretty.
I probably thought it was a turnip or something.
It
you can
actually, and they're often right next to each other.
Miss
Okay,
Miss
well, I'll see.
Kroger's. Do you have a Kroger's? Well, they
No.
usually
Uh,
over there in the organic aisle of the Kroger's.
Okay.
All
All right.
right. Well, thank you, everybody. I'm Frank underscore Mentor SF. I'm one of the creators for Food Talk TV, where we intend to make food accessible. We intend to make you think twice about what you say no. And if I've done my job right, you're going to go off this live tonight and you're going to be like, I don't know if I'm going to like this, but I'm intrigued how it's going to taste. And remember, you don't have to make these quantities. The watermelon recipe that'll be up tomorrow, you can actually make half the watermelon recipe. So if there's only two of you, you can make it much smaller. This recipe will fill the recipe I made. Just the soupy portion will fill this container. So when you add the rest of it, but I'm having six people, all men tomorrow, so it won't go far. Plus, I'll be honest, this is one of those things where I like leftovers, quite frankly.
Yeah.
And on a Sunday morning, if you are somebody who enjoys your Bloody Mary, try a bloody watermelon. You could do the exact same mix and use the watermelon as the base and add the same toppings and just add your tequila or your vodka and you have it and it'll work. But
Or
I
for,
appreciate you spending the time for us tonight. I want to thank Ashton and Sherry. Go ahead, Ashton. I think I heard you.
or for those of us that don't really drink a lot of alcohol, Miss Sherry included, we could have a watermelon smoothie.
Oh,
Yeah.
totally.
Hey,
Totally. Actually, I
could I
like watermelon smoothies.
plug Food Talk TV? Follow us,
Yes, you
please, on
can.
Pinterest, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, www.foodtalktv.com, and just look at all the tabs and go to the event page. We're here on TikTok, and we have Cooking with Kaz, you can see him right there. Add tequila. Cook it, Erica. October Dragonfly. Cooking Comedy and Chaos. And then, and Gluten Free Mama. Then there's Frank Mentor SF, that guy right there. And Just Like Granny. And then I'm Sherry_Skinner. Please follow us all as well as Food Talk TV.
And we are live every Sunday night. It's rare that one of us is not on every Sunday night. We commit to trying to bring you something on Sundays, and then we do a variety of these extra lives that just bring in a different theme. We've challenged ourselves several times, and if you look on the website under events, you'll see when we have one coming up or if we've just finished one.
Yes.
Thank you, ladies. It was a pleasure to have you in the room. Thank you, Christine and Des and Kaz and um, Anne. Andrea, I think I saw you on there tonight. And everybody else, I'm sorry I didn't respond to the questions myself. They spin kind of far, and there's a lot going on in this desk right now, in this counter.
Please come on tomorrow night and watch October Dragonfly. She is a real delight. We love her.
We do. As a matter of fact, I think I am in the box tomorrow night with October Dragonfly, so I am looking forward to that for sure.
Keto recipes, which is also very diabetic friendly. So that's a great aspect as well because I'm always looking for, snacks or treats or something that I can eat without having to take insulin for because everyone knows I'm type 1 diabetic. So
Hey,
And you can watch all
Ellen,
the lives up on the YouTube channel.
Ellen, if October Dragonfly is doing the live tomorrow night, there probably more than likely will be adult beverages. Yes, just saying.
Oh, I did my adult beverage last trip, and it lasted until about 11 o'clock that night. The rest of the drink got drank. Just saying.
I
That
don't
white
even
cargo will get it for you.
know an alcoholic. David does that. I'm just like the pink one. I don't, I don't know.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you. Thanks for joining me tonight. I hope you enjoy these. I hope you feel challenged and triggered and thinking I want to try something different. That's what this is for. And let me know what you think. Let me know how they taste and give us some feedback. But thank you all for spending some time on a Friday night. Have a nice weekend, everybody.
You too.
Bye now.
Bye.